talking about jewelry, vintage jewelry collections, and book collections. So we'll have fun with that. And I really do encourage you. Hey, Lilyworks, how are you? Uh, I'd really encourage you to chat back, ask questions, make comments. Correct me if I need to be corrected. And if I don't see your comment, just keep pestering me. Put it in all caps so this old lady with her bad eyes can see. Oh, y'all, I'm sitting here. This is not my normal stage. I brought you over here to my easy chair. I've just gotten back from the most wonderful little event in my little small town in North Georgia. There we have a little local bakery and deli that has an events room. And every so often they do a British or English tea with all the little sandwiches and scones and desserts. Oh, I'm telling you. So I just got back from one of those and it was high tea. I had on my, not this hat, but I had on a big straw hat. You know, you just get all dressed up and been drinking tea out of fine china and eating scones. It's been really fun, but it's you know how you feel when you've just had a meal and you sit down. While I was waiting on the time to come, I was just having. I hope I don't yawn. If I yawn, please excuse me. All right. Well, let me go ahead and give you a bit of introduction here. This is Collections Chat. I'm Pack Rat Queen, and I do collect. My kids say I hoard, but I'm a collector. And I've reminded my kids that the more stuff I've collected, that it's just more for them to inherit one day if I don't sell it first. So that's how I feel about it. But I got into jewelry collecting when my mother passed away. She loved costume jewelry, especially earrings. And some of you have heard me say this before, but that's how I got started in jewelry, and now I'm actually a collector and I'm really having fun. In my retirement, I'm a retired art professor, art teacher, and so I do enjoy teaching. So bear with me if I get into teaching mode, okay? Um, but I've always collected books, rare and first editions. And my primary goal is to move along some of those books and to move along some of the jewelry and basically just have fun. Just have fun. And so I hope you're going to have fun with me today. All right. So, what I want to do today, let me put you on this stand and I'm going to turn you around here in just a second. Um, I want to kind of trace a little bit of my history or experience and how I began to learn about jewelry. And one of the most obvious places is that we would go to jewelry books. And I'm sure all of you, if you sell jewelry, you have the kind of books I'm talking about. But if you're like me, when you're having to look for them online, because most of them are used, you're not able to handle them, you're not able to flip through them and see them really much at all. And so you end up buying some that turn out to be good, but then others are not so good. So I'm going to do a little bit of a review of the books that I have found to be most helpful and ones that you might want to maybe steer clear of. And then I'm actually going to offer some of my books for sale today. So if you're in need of some jewelry resource books, and some of them are hard to get, you have to remember I'm a book dealer, rare in book, so I have access to dealer databases, and I'm pretty much able to find pretty much anything, and I'm going to come back to that in a little bit later. But so I want to kind of show you the books I started with, what I liked about them, and we'll chat about it, and then I'll stop and put some of them up for sale. And then we're going to end up, though, today actually looking at a very small section of my personal collection of jewelry. We're going to look at very famous, well, it's popular right now, and that is Juliana. Juliana, that was made by Delisa and Elsta, called D&E Jewelry. That was the name of the company. And they had a line called Juliana. So we're going to look at my. The beginnings of my collection, and I'm going to put some pieces up for sale a little bit later too. So hang on to your hat, and please, I see that Mel said you've been looking forward to this. Thank you. That just blesses my heart. And I see somebody saying hi and hello, Roblox. Roblox, Sonia. I'm going to probably mess up y'all's names. Please forgive me. When I quit teaching, when I was teaching, I had to learn 150 names every 6 weeks. And I could do it. Knew the first name, last name, knew the parent's name. Man, when I quit teaching, it's like my brain said, okay, you don't have to you don't have to deal with people's names anymore. Well, uh, so excuse me if I stumble. Plus, I can't half see. How many of the rest of you that sell on this on district have a hard time seeing that little print? Okay, enough of that. I'm gonna flip you around. All right, there we go. Uh, I said I would show you the first books that I looked at and what I like about them and what I don't. And I have to tell you that the very first book, it wasn't the first book that I bought, but it's one of the first. And it for a beginner, and I was a beginner, and this was like almost 3 years ago now. A beginner of collecting. This is the Beginner's Guide to Vintage and Costume Jewelry, and the author's name's not on the front, but it's right there. How many of you recognize her name? If you have joined any of the Facebook jewelry groups, and I'm trying to think of the name of this one's like vintage jewelry research and maker's mark identification, that sort of thing. She is very involved in one of those rooms, and she'll actually chat with you. And if you put a piece of jewelry up there and say, I can't find, who do you think this is by? I can't figure it out. Oftentimes she'll come in and give her opinion, but she found herself doing it so much that finally she's an industrious little gal. She sat down and wrote this book and put it together, and she advertised it on that Facebook group. And I contacted her, said, Diane, I said, I want one of your books. How do I order it? So back then I had to order it directly from her. Now she's got them up on eBay. But look at there. She autographed it. And as a book collector, I highly value books that are signed. Now, this one, I'm not going to say you because it's got an autograph to me, but in a minute I'll show you where you can find it and how much you should expect to pay for it. But why is this book any good? Well, she's talking to somebody just starting out as a beginner. And so, first and foremost, she tells you to breathe. You're starting out because you've inherited jewelry, you're a beginner, where to buy, research, supplies, how to clean, what not to clean. So her chapters on cleaning jewelry is very, very good. And this is a very current book, I think. Let's look at the publication date. Let's see, copyright date 2003. So it barely is squeaking by as being vintage, if you say 20 years is vintage. Um, but she divides it into necklaces, bracelets, the types of earrings. Okay, and you can see that there. But what's good about her pictures, and she's got a lot of pictures, is that she knows what what you need to be looking at it to identify the jewelry, which means you need to be able to see the back of the pen. I don't know how many jewelry resource books I'm sitting here with me in front of it. They only ever show the front. And what's the first thing you want to do is you want to see the back. You want to see what does the back look like. So she's really good to show the back and the construction. And so there's the front, there's the back. And I really appreciate that about her. So this book is invaluable just from that standpoint alone. Plus, I don't know if you got questions about how to clean and safe way to do it. This is a good book. Well, here's some current prices. And new, I paid, I think, $48 new. So her price is, this is on eBay. And this, some of these are used books where somebody's bought it from her. Now they're reselling it. But her books are starting to climb up as they are rare. There's only three out there available. So you can see what the prices are. You can find it on eBay. And I'm going to suggest to you as we go along that if you see a book that you might be interested in, take a screenshot of it. And if I don't hold it still long enough, just ask me, put it back up there, and let me take a screenshot. And that way you can find it. And then you're going to have to take a screenshot of that because her name's not on the front. I'm going to speak to her about that. When you republish this book, Diane, put your name on the front of the book. Okay. All right. Everybody got that? All right. That was just a simple little book that is in my collection and that I wanted to share with you. But the very first book, well, it might not have been the very first book, but it was the first book that was proved to be valuable to me, is this one, Costume Jewelry by Fred. I can't pronounce his last name, but do you see it? I just call him Fred. Now, the values in this one are from 2002, but I'm not really, that's not the main reason why I have this book. Why would I want this book or any of these books? Because if you are out thrifting or estate sales and you're a reseller, and some of you on in here today are resellers, you need to be able to identify the piece if it's got a maker's mark. And if it's got a maker's mark, you're going to want to try and find it in a book, and then you can call it a book piece. And then, how many of you know that sort of increases the value if you can do that? If you can say it's on page such and such of somebody's book, and so it increases the value of your pieces, but just identifying it to be able to give it value. Am I right about that? Can I get some thumbs up? Are y'all on the same page with me? Is this making any sense to you? Or are all you guys in here today sell glass and pottery and kitsch and stuff like that, which, well, as you know, there's books for all of that too, right? But I'm thinking that because this is Lily Works Jewels, that most of you are jewelry folks. And if you're not, I hope you'll stick in and learn something anyway, and enjoy our time of chat together. But why did I like this book? Okay, and you can see I have used it. I am kind of weird about my post-it notes. I'm not really wanting to mark the book up because as a book dealer, I know that that devalues a book. So I'm going to resist making marks in it. Now, some of the books, if they're used, they may already have marks in it. But so I try to use these post-it notes instead of making highlighting and that sort of thing. But that's just me. You can color in your book if you want to. But why I liked this book is he does have an introduction to, like defining what is costume jewelry. Now all of that's good. And he even talks about cleaning and repairing and stuff. But here's what I like. He's got it divided by periods, okay, of jewelry production. But look at this. He has taken each jewelry designer. Let me find the first one. Alphabetically, and there's very few books that do this. Alphabetically, American costume jewelry. There we go. And alphabetically, he is going to describe the history of the company, give you some history, and show you some pictures. Now, because he is doing quite a few, each one of these post-it notes is a designer. He's not able to show a lot of pictures, but I don't know about you, but if I want to see a brochure, okay, I want to be able to find it. If I want to see a Hattie Carnegie, I want to be able to find pictures of Hattie Carnegie, of Alice Cavanis, of Signer, of what's some other ones that you'd be probably most familiar. Hobay, about Hobay. I want to be able to find obey. Um, Instead of just having a book full of jewelry, and I'm going to show you some of those in a minute, where you've got to look at each caption to be able, or in the index, to find every place that a piece of hollycraft would be listed. But he's got it alphabetically, only a few pictures, but at least it gives you a feel for the way that particular designer his typical work, what his work would look like. So that helps you to learn. There's Kramer. Where's his name? Right there. There's Kramer. And he's got a pretty good section on like Trifari and Coro and some of the more well-known ones. But let's go back to the beginning. There was another thing that I really liked about this book is that I didn't see in any other book, and it's he calls it a value scale. But what he's done is he's listed each one of the designers that are in this book, and you can see there's quite a few of them because there's like 3 pages, all right? And he has developed a value scale from 1 to 10, and it's his way of saying that a uh, piece by Robert, okay, he's got it way over here from 8 to 10, which means that's a high end. Robert would be worth in 2002. Okay, a high end dollar. So it helps you to price your pieces. But what it says to me today is that historically. I should be looking for Robert and Schiaparelli. All the ones that are in this last column are the ones that, as a collector, I want to collect. There's Vendome, everyone that's over here to the right. I personally have begun to attempt to get at least one piece of. So, in fact, y'all gonna laugh at me probably, but I've actually set a goal. I made an extra copy so I could mark on it. I've set a goal to get at least one piece from every single company. So I'm on the lookout for these things. And this is I check it off when I get a piece. And so when I'm in auction rooms and shows, I'm looking, do they have a Barclay? Is there a Bow Jewels? See, I don't have a Bow Jewels. So I'm wanting to tick off my box here. And that brings me to this. There are 3 types of sellers out there, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. There's 3 types of sellers out there, y'all. And the first one is, and y'all know this, you're selling to other resellers, aren't you? A lot of That's a lot of our sales are to other resellers. So how does that affect our pricing? Well, it does because resellers are obviously looking for as good a deal as they can get. So when I'm selling to resellers or pricing something for them, I say, well, look at what I paid for it, and then I'll add either 15 or 20% to it markup, and that's what I attempt to, as a starting bid, and hope to get out of it. If I get more, that's great. But a reseller needs to have more room beyond my 15, 20% for them to make a profit. Y'all understand that. So it does affect your pricing. The second type of person that's coming into your auction room is someone who sees a piece that goes, oh my gosh, I love that. And that would go with my new outfit. And I'd like to have that. They're going to buy it and they're going to wear it. And this person, if they're thrifty, they're looking for a deal, of course, but they're willing to pay maybe a little bit more because they really liked that piece that they saw, that brooch or that ring or that necklace, because they intend to wear it. So that's your second type. The third type is the collector. Now, whenever you guys see me in one of your rooms, my initial mindset as a buyer from you is as a collector. Because what am I doing? I'm looking to check off my list here. Okay, and I tell you what, if you let me just pull up one that I am looking for. Like I'm looking for Sherman's. Okay, I'm looking for. I do have some, but I like Sherman. It's very collectible. So if you pull a Sherman out, and I like the look of it, and the condition is good, then y'all, I'll climb the wall bidding in your room to win that. So I'd be considered a good customer from you because I'm willing to pay up because I'm a collector. Does that make sense to you? All right. So you need to. It's helpful to learn to think like a collector from that standpoint. And that means that when you're selling, you need to be able to describe if you've got an accessorcraft piece, you need to be able to give some history about that company, kind of give an idea of its value, and to be able to sell it to a collector. Now, reseller, it's probably going to just be the price range is what they're going to be interested in. And as well as you can present it, if it's really pretty attractable piece, you might sell it to that second category. Oh, I want that. I want to wear that with my new dress. All right, so that is the way I think, and I'm sure we all think differently. Welcome in. If I haven't been acknowledging you guys coming in, I just see a new name, a flora, a flora, and with all those numbers. Thank you for joining, and I hope you'll join into our chat. And I'm looking back up here. Um, People choose to use eBay as their main choice of where to get a price from. Are you talking about like pricing your jewelry? Yes. Well, and I hope you're using sold items, completed sales to get your comps and not what other people are asking, because they can ask anything they want. Doesn't mean that's what it's worth. And I know you know that. By the way, you're watching this from YouTube. And if you later, when I start offering stuff up for sale, like some of these books, and then later some of the pieces of jewelry, you'll need to come into district to be able to bid. So just giving you a heads up on that. You're watching in YouTube, and but to bid, you'll need to come over into district. So I hope you have the district app, and that you can just download it. It's an Apple app. Download it, get signed up. Doesn't take long at all. And then come find Pack Rat Queen, and click on my live show, and you can come in here and be able to bid. Okay. All right. Back to my way of thinking. All right. This book. All right. Back to this book. The only drawback is that there are not a lot of pictures. Um, of one particular designer, but like Weiss. How many of you have a hard time finding pictures of Weiss? And Weiss is a fun designer to collect. It's reasonably priced, and they are collectible. But he's got a little more than usual. Look at this. We're still looking at Weiss. That's kind of unusual. Look at there, another page. I tell you, somebody needs to write a book dedicated to Weiss. In just a minute, I'm going to show you some books that are dedicated to particular designers, and there's not one that I've been able to find for Weiss. Somebody with a nice collection of Weiss needs to sit down and write one of these books. They'd make a fortune. Okay, so this book I highly recommend. And it is one of the books that I'm going to sell in just a little bit. We'll come back to it just a minute. And I've got some additional ones coming that I'm going to put in my Buy It Now. And in about a week, you can check back into my Buy It Now, and I am selling them at below what you can find it in other places. Because my intent is that you get these in your hands and be helped. They're tremendous help. I sit here in this easy chair at night and just flip through these. Let me tell you, there's a connection with. Counterfeit money. And let me tell you what it is. The way they teach people to recognize counterfeit bills is they have them sit and just handle the real deal. Real $100 bills, real $20 bills. Okay. And then when they have a counterfeit, they'll recognize it as being different. It's the same with jewelry. If you look at Weiss, look at Juliana, look at Sherman, look at Schreiner, look at Miriam Haskell and Hattie Carney, all the wonderful names that we like to collect. Just look at them, look at them, look at them. And then when you're out there in that flea market, you'll recognize them when you see them. And you'll recognize the counterfeits. Or is there counterfeit? Are there counterfeit Eisenbergs? Oh yes, ma'am. They're sad to say, but there is. Are there counterfeit Miriam Haskells? Yes, there are, and there have been since the 30s and 40s. People caught on right quick that that jewelry was selling like hotcakes, and bad people started making fakes and selling them, and sometimes they've gotten passed down, and people think they're real. So how can you tell the real thing? By looking at the real thing as much as you can. I look at them in the book and then go purposely to antique stores and places where there are reputable dealers for jewelry, vintage and antique jewelry, and ask them if you can hold that Miriam Haskell. Hold it, look at it, inspect it, hold the real thing, and do that as much as you can, and you will really learn how to sell jewelry. All right, now this next book is by Marcy Sparkles Brown, and I have got to meet this gal someday. Here is the book, Signed Beauties of Costume Jewelry. And of course, it's all about identification, but she does add values. Of course, it's out of date today, but it does give you a bit of a scale to look at. But let's take a look, and I'll tell you why I like this book in just a minute. Um, you've got the benefit here today, and I hope you see it as a benefit of someone who has collected and invested quite a bit in just jewelry books alone, and they're all down here too. And so I'm giving you the benefit of my having looked at these books so that when you get on eBay or wherever you, Amazon, wherever you buy your used books, um, you'll know what you're looking for. All right. So her, oh, wait a minute. Before we look at how she's done the book, I want you to see her. Oh, look at this. I want to meet this lady. Look at that. Does she not look at that necklace she's got on, y'all? Look at that butterfly. Is that not amazing? I wish I could meet her. This book, let's look at that. As a book collector, I'm always looking at the copyright date, 2002. I hope she's still alive and kicking and buying jewelry and selling jewelry. But here's what I want you to see. In the index, don't I sound like a teacher? Look at the table of contents now. She's divided it up by designer, just like that other book I showed you. So she's starting off with the Midwestern Connection. That's Eisenberg, Kenneth J. Lane, Starr. They're out there in the Chicago area, the Midwestern. And she moves on down to what she calls the Design in Men, Marcel Boucher and Castlecliff and Christian Dior, Schreiner, Designing Women, Hattie Carnegie, Coco Chanel, who started it all, right? Costume jewelry. Uh, Schiaparelli, Lisa Schiaparelli, the Parisian who came to the States, Miriam Haskell, and then look, disciples of Haskell, Robert DeMario, Robert Originals. And let me tell you, there's a new Facebook group under the name Robert Originals. Y'all, if y'all are interested in that particular designer, you need to check it out. And one of the reasons why is that one of the books I'm going to show you in just a minute, the author is very active in that group, and you can communicate and talk with her. Y'all, I have met a lot of these authors, and they know me. I communicate with them, I text with them in these groups, and they look at my jewelry and talk about it and give me advice about it. So don't be bashful about doing that. All right. So Hobe, Joseph, so Florenza. So what I'm saying is that she has divided her book up just like I like it. And she's got good photographs. I used to work in graphic design in a publishing house, so I know this part of the business of having good photographs. Now, I've got some books that are even better, but this is a step up from a lot of the jewelry books you see are just pathetic. I would never have let them out the door, and I'll show you some in just a minute. The photographs are just so bad. The layout is so bad. But I highly recommend this book. She's got a good representation of the pieces. What are we looking at here? Florenza. I mean, look how many of the Florenza. And what is fun is to buy a piece, pick up a piece one night in one of y'all's rooms and find it in the book. Oh my goodness, that is exciting. And I make a little note of what page it's on. I'm going to show you some of my Julianas in the books. And it's just extremely exciting. And it increases the value of your piece. All right, so take my word for it. If you only had money to buy one book, I'd buy this one right here. And I am going to offer this one for sale in just a little bit. And I've got some more coming. And they'll be in my Buy It Now in about a week. So if you want to get a screenshot, Sign Beauties Costume Jewelry by Marcia Sparkles Brown. Isn't that cute? Okay, are we good on that one? All right. All right, the next couple of books are actually two volumes, and that's how you'd want to buy them together, these two volumes together. And they are beautiful books. First of all, they're a Schiffer book, and if you know that publisher, they always do a good job. But they're the author's name. It's a husband and wife, Carla. Uh, I can't pronounce that. Roberto, would you say that's Italian? Anyway, there's the name. Take a screenshot if you're going to keep up with me here. But this is American costume jewelry, and it's from 1935, which would be the Art Deco period. So he's not into antique jewelry. This was all would be vintage jewelry up to 1950, and that's kind of the golden age of some of these designers that we are so keen on, that we look for. Vintage still continues on up to close to 2000, so it's another 50 years. But anyway, these two volumes are dedicated to that golden age of costume jewelry, and he's got it divided alphabetically, the designers into Z, and this one, the first one, is A to M. So, Miriam Haskell, let's see. So, right away, you can see that he has organized the book like I like it by designer. If I want to look up Eisenberg or Miriam Haskell, I want to find it. So, there's Miriam Haskell right there, page 199. Let's just flip over there and see what his Miriam Haskell section looks like. And you can see some of the pictures. Okay, there we go. There's his section on Miriam Haskell. He's got some old ads, but you can, all right, he does quite a bit of history. How many of you like to be able to read the history of a company? Go to sale and be able to tell little tidbits. It'll turn your audience on and make them interested in what you're selling. All right, Miriam Haskell is all about recognizing how that the pieces are designed, and it's quite technical being able to recognize the pieces. He goes into it pretty good. All right, and then he's going to start showing you some of the pieces. Look at these gorgeous, gorgeous photographs. It's like the piece is right there. It's almost like it's to scale. And is this typical Miriam Haskell, this golded gilt and encrusted beadwork? Uh, we don't, and also the pearls. The pearls are distinctive, those Baroque pearls that Miriam Haskell used. So now, most of these are going to be high end pieces that he's showing examples of. But this is the way to learn, and just look at these pictures. All right, so you understand why it is now that I like this. This is his section on Hobey. How many of you have got pieces by Hobey? Any of you, give me a thumbs up if you've got a Hobey piece. I have one piece in my collection. If you guys are selling and you've got Hobeys, you need to tag me into your shows. Let me know because I'm on the lookout for and ready to buy Hobey. Okay. Um, Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it gives details of drawings. There's that brooch of how it's constructed so you really can recognize it. Okay, all right, these two go together and should be bought together. And I'm going to sell this set today. And I have more of these coming that will be in the buy it now. Um, these are a little more pricey just because there's two of them that go together. All right. Now, I've covered that. All right. Let's look at, oh, by the way, our Sparkles Brown, she has a volume two, and it's a continuation and more artist, the designer, excuse me, of what was in the volume one. So if you like her book, you can go out there and find volume two. I only have this one copy, so it's not for sale today. This book, The Great Pretenders. How many of you have this book? This is a pretty famous jewelry resource book. Lily Work Seller, you have several of what the Sparkles Brown books, or you have Hobey. Are you telling me you and uh, person right above you, Valdez, y'all have got Hobey? Is that what you're saying to me? That you have some Hobey pieces? Well, if you do, if that's what you're saying, be sure and let me know when you're ready to put them up for sale. But anyway, this book, The Great Pretender, is pretty famous. You see it referred to and referenced quite a bit. They're the authors. This Nancy Schiffer has written a lot and is quite the expert. And but the book is not by designer. And so look what I've done. I've put my little post-it notes. Here's a on this one page is an Alice Cavanis. Okay, so if I want to find Alice Cavanis, I've got to go through and look at each caption, or just probably, go to the index and find what pages that. Let's see what Weiss, if she's got any Weiss. VW. Hang on just a second. I'm curious because Weiss is, yeah, right there. Weiss is on page 129. All right, well, let's just look at one page, 129. But I don't like to have to find the designers this way because you got to look in the index. Then you got to go. Now, there we go. There's page 129. Well, which one of those is Weiss? So you got to read the captions, and I don't want to mark mine up, but have you spotted it yet? Well, I see there's a Weiss. I see Miriam Haskell's name. What are we looking for? Weiss? So it's that one at the bottom. These colored glass flowers by Weiss from the 1950s. So is it that one? See what I'm talking about? It just makes it, I don't know. I just don't think it's organized as well. However, there is value to the book and just looking at the pictures and you go, oh, I have that piece or I have that piece. And then you can find out who it is. And they've got values down here. They're outdated, but gives you some sort of idea. Oh, here was a whole chapter on figurals. I stuck that in there. How many of you've got this little pen, this Damascene pen? Has everybody got one of those? The little Spanish ship? I've got two of them. Must have been popular. But anyway, the book has got good photographs. And like I said, it's pretty famous, The Great Pretenders, and it has come out in multiple editions. Edition one, edition two, edition three. Every time they reprint it, they update it, so they change the edition. If you have some of these others, I'd say add this one to your collection, but it wouldn't be the first one that I buy. Now here is that looks real similar on the cover to Sparkle Browns. This one's by Simmons, Cherry Simmons, and she's done a lot of research. Let's look at the quality of the photographs. All right, the photographs are not bad, but again, the designers are just scattered. She's got it organized, I think, by either periods or by all the brooches in one chapter and all the necklaces in another. And to find the designer, you've got, okay, that one's Kenneth J. Lane. I mean, I just don't like reading the captions. Am I being stupid? I don't know. But this wouldn't be my first choice, but I did buy the book, and I do enjoy uh, sitting and looking at the pictures. So there's that one. Here's another one just like it. This one's by Rhonda Lee Collection. It's the Rhonda Lee Collection. Rhonda Lee Atkins. There we go. But trust me, it is similar. Let's just take a look at the photographs. So, oh, this one's one of the ones with bad photographs. When they laid this out, look how they, yuck. That brooch just doesn't show up too good on that yucky green. Looks like green baby smashed peas for babies. Sorry, I'm being ugly. I know, but it's as a graphic designer, I'm just going yuck. So that book stays on the shelf more than it does in my lap. Now, this next two are in two volumes also. It's Popular Jewelry from the 60s, 70s, and 80s by Roseanne Ettinger. And let's see if this is, yeah, I've gotten to know her. She sent me an autographed copy of her book. I bought them directly from her. And I liked it just because she was identifying it with the period, so you can look at jewelry that was made in the 60s, jewelry that was popular in the 70s. The photographs are better than the one we just looked at, but it's not organized by designers. You have to go to the index to be able to find a Weiss or a Miriam Haskell or any other designer you're interested in seeing. But it is a good look through book, and just kind of for the aesthetic experience of looking at jewelry by the decade. Now, her first book, same title, but it's from the 40s and the 50s. Now, there's her name. If you want to get a screenshot of it, you can Google just her name or I mean on eBay, just her name, and you'll find her books. These aren't bad to have. This one from the 40s and the 50s is, and look at my little mark. I see, I was interested, I was researching Coro. So every place she had a picture of a Coro, I put a post-it note. If she'd had a chapter on Coro, I wouldn't have had to do that. Um, all right, let me move these out of the way. I'm running out of places to put stuff. All right. Okay, real quickly. This is a pretty good old book right here. It's big, thick thing. Old jewelry. Question answer to questions. Look at the dates: 1840 to 1950. How many are interested of you are interested in antique jewelry? It's 100 years or more. So we're talking about 1840 would be Victorian, and then you move into the little transitional period called the from the French called the Belle Epoque, and then you have the Art Nouveau and the Deco up to about the 30s, and in there crossing over is the arts and crafts movement. So there's about five or so distinctive periods of jewelry design and use of different materials during those periods. And this book gives you a really nice overview up to 1950. So this is going to take you after the 30s, from the 30s through the war period, where the jewelry became distinctive because of the materials being used. They had to use sterling. silver. Whereas before they were using pot metal and all that, well, all that had to go to the war effort. So they had to use sterling. You can find some nice jewelry that was produced during the war in sterling, that's costume jewelry. But then into the 40s and 50s after the war, the beautiful age of Hollywood glamour and the rhinestones and all of that. It's one of the first books I bought, but I was interested in the antique jewelry, and I sit and look at this book quite often. Because I do collect Victorian and I even collect Georgian, which is up to 300 years old. But I adore this book. That one's, and I have looked recently on eBay to see if I could find it for a reasonable price, and it's out there. So if you are interested in that date range, and the photographs are good, but it's not going to be by a designer. Again, you're going to have to use the index to find it, certain ones. But a lot of good information, nicely written from a historical standpoint. Take a screenshot of that, and it's by Janine Bell. All right, good book. One of the earliest books I bought was this one also. Um, and it's also by J- um, Joan Ball, very similar name, but The Golden Age of Design. I was initially attracted to it by the beautiful piece that's on the cover. Isn't that a gorgeous photograph? Um, let's look to see how it's organized. Well, how do you think I like this book? What would you think? Would I like this book? Look at there, a whole chapter on Hattie Carnegie, whole chapter on Adele Simpson and Anne Klein, and then names to look for. She's giving you other names that she hasn't covered, but she's telling you to look for them. And then look at all those names. There's Eisenberg, Hobey, Haskell, the Mazer and Jomez brothers, Trifari, Coro. I wonder if she's got. Let's see if she's got Weiss. Um, there's Weiss right there. So, can you imagine? I like this book. I like this book. The pictures are fabulous, and she does give good histories on the different companies. There are all the owners and designers of the Hobey line, and I'm a historian. I like to read the histories, but there's all sorts of old ads. This is a good book. So if you got the extra money, and I have seen this available as a used on eBay, and I'm sure it's on Amazon used books too. So there's the author, Joan Dubs Ball. I highly recommend this book. Now, I've got a couple of books here that I'm going to show you real quickly that, as a graphic designer, I absolutely adore. And this is the gal, Carolyn Tannenbaum, that you can actually chat with. In that, right now she's in the group that I told you, the originals by Robert, and she posts a lot of pictures of Robert from out of her own personal collection, and you can also find her over in the Hobey, some of the Hobey groups. She is fascinating to talk to, and you can throw your brooch up there and say, tell me about this, or do you think this is a real Miriam Haskell or whatever? And boy, she can flat give you expert advice. So I've enjoyed that. But she put together. Look, this is one of the most beautiful books. A passion for vintage costume jewelry. She surely has a passion, and it's one of the most elegant, visually elegant books that I have seen in a long time. And well, I said, as a graphic designer, I love it. Well, she covers it by period, and I like that from a historical standpoint. She starts with the Victorian. and you can see the different periods that she covers. Uh, so, again, though, if you want to look up just Weiss, you're going to have to look in the index and go to the page to find it. And there's not a lot of jewelry shown because you can see one necklace is taking up a whole page, right? So but the photographs are beautiful. Is this not beautiful? Oh my goodness. What is that right there? That is D&E. Well, we should recognize that. That's a Juliana. And I've got one of these speckled egg brooches. Anybody got a Juliana that's got that Easter egg stone in it? I've got one brooch, and I'm going to show it to you in just a little bit. But Um, so I do recommend this book just for sitting. If you have a passion for jewelry, for the design, for the colors, for the materials, I highly recommend this book. And you can find this used on eBay and Amazon. And go introduce yourself to Carol Tannenbaum over there on that Facebook page. And by the way, if I say something and you didn't write it down and you think of it later and wished you had, don't hesitate to send me a text. Okay, send me a text and say what was that, and I'll be happy to answer your questions and help you in any way that I can. And even if you have trouble finding one of these books, like I said, I'm a book dealer. I've got access to some databases that you might not have. And if the book you're looking for is sitting in some obscure thrift store somewhere or some little used bookstore somewhere, I can help you find it. So, and I would do that just to help you. So don't hesitate. Okay. Now, I want to introduce you to Judith Miller. I would like to meet her. She's got all sorts of credentials as far as being an expert on this, that, and the other. And I think she's worked in museums or maybe in some of these associations involved with antique and cost and vintage jewelry. But I tell you what, this is a DK book. How many of you have bought a DK book and know that you're gonna be in for a visual candy on the inside? Well, just look at the cover, and you can see I use it like crazy. And because again, it's not divided by designer that I remember. Maybe it is. Oh yeah, it is too. Look at their designer profiles. Look at Hattie Carnegie, Hobase. So you on page 74, you can find Hattie Carnegie and what her work would look like. Uh, yeah, it's divided by designers. Look, there's Judy Lee. How many of you got some Judy Lees? Have you ever connected Judy Lee with Carl Lagerfeld? What's the connection? Well, find out in a book like this. So I definitely, and you can see I use it like crazy. I got it all. I've even got post-it notes all on the inside. Let me show you what the pages look like. This is typical DK books. They have all of these little inserts. I mean, it's just packed with information. Little things to the side. So this is a great book. I've never heard of Andrew Logan or Argy Rousseau. So this is now I have been started collecting art, and that's another designer. If you have got art pieces by art, Arthur Pepper is that short for. I'm on the lookout to buy art. So if you've got those in your inventory, be mindful if I come in your room or tag me to come in and I'll look at what you've got. So anyway, beautiful book. There's the name of it again. All you got to remember is Judith Miller. Search that in Google or Amazon and buy that. And I liked it so well that this book just came in. And I haven't looked to see, I don't know, I think this one's older than the one I just showed you. But I've already looked to see if it uh, was exactly the same thing, and they just updated the cover, and it's not. She does cover um, designers, but she also has a nice section on the different periods, which is so it's organized a little differently, and it's not a D&E. Is it a D&E book? No, it's not, but it is by Judith Miller. So again, her photographs are just out of sight. Oh, just look at Kramer. How many of you have Kramer? Do you sell much Kramer? That's another one that I'm looking for. Anyway, so anything by Judith Miller, I would recommend. Now, that we're going to look at now are books that are specifically by designer. And for me, that's, you end up spending more money because you're buying a whole book. Oh, God, just on Napier. I'm telling you what. This is by Melinda Lewis, and she needs to be. This is a recent published book. In fact, I got it from her right after it was released, and she sent me a note card. I ordered it directly from her. I met her also in Facebook in one of those groups. You can find her out there and communicate with her. But she sent me this directly from her, sent me a little note card signed and everything. And I said, Melinda, I said, you win the prize for writing the biggest book. I mean, look, here's the book on Sherman. I don't know why I think that's funny, but it is funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm seeing somebody tell me they have art pieces. Caruso. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, wait a minute, y'all. I got to stop and talk to Caruso for just a second. I nearly spoiled your day, didn't I, sweetheart? I planned this show for 2 o'clock and then saw you had your show planned at 2 o'clock. And I said, no, no, no. So I came back and bumped it up to 1 and thought, well, I'd be through by 2 and we could raid you. Now I see you've changed it to 3. Tell me real quickly, Caruso. Are you on at 3 Eastern Standard Time? That'd be 2 o'clock today? Not today? No, wait a minute. Crusoe, tell me, is when your show starts today, Eastern Standard Time, if I have the option to raid you or not? Crusoe, you still there, sweetheart? She was telling me she's got art pieces, not today, though. I love this book and I use it all the time. I have art too, so stay tuned. Who is that talking to me? Little Sugar. So you have the Judith Miller book, Little Sugar? I love this book. I use it all the time. So you would recommend it? Give me a thumbs up. Lily Works, she just popped on. Okay. Okay. Rachel, is her show starting at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time? Can you let me know? Because I was kind of, I still need to auction some books off. She just started. Okay. All right. Well, let's do this. How many of you like? Let me just show you by moving the camera the books that are designer specific to let you know kind of what's out there. And then I'm going to auction off the books I've got, and then I'll show you a couple of pieces of jewelry, and then we'll go raid Caruso. So there's one on Sherman, which is awesome. All of these books I'm showing you are nothing but these designers. There's Eisenberg, there's Avon. I've got two on Miriam Haskell, and both of them are excellent. If you just Google eBay or Amazon for Miriam Haskell, you'll find those two. They're two different books. Here's Sarah Coventry. And by the way, you can still find on eBay the Sarah Coventry. This is an actual catalog from when 1979. So this is a great way to see what their jewelry looked like. Sarah Coventry, Avon, Park Lane, all those home sale companies are starting to be quite collectible, get good, starting to get good money for them. I've got two books on Sarah Coventry. My Coro book I just got and I love it. Y'all, that is the best book, and it's the only one I've ever seen just on Coro. So if you like Coro Craft or Vendome, their high-end line, get that book right there. Collector's Guide. It's by our friend Sparkles Brown. Wouldn't you know it? Okay, then there's that one on Monet just came in. Now, I was getting down here to Juliana. I've got two books on Juliana. This is the classic Juliana line that we all hunt for and try to identify. And it's by Caterina Musetti. And I got to know Caterina Musetti on Facebook. In fact, I threw up. Let me dig into my cabinet over here. I'm going to show you this cabinet in just a second. But there is that Easter egg brooch. And I had identified it on the database, isitjuliana.com. How many are familiar with that site? Isitjuliana.com. And it's a database. You can put in the parameters and search for your piece. And if you find it and it matches, maybe the color of the stones are different, but the design and construction is all the same, then you verified that it is a Juliana, and there'll be a number. That database will have a number. Or if you don't find it there, because it's not inclusive, you can find it in one of these books and say that it's in the Musetti book, page so and so and so and so. Well, anyway, I threw this up on the website, the Facebook page that is for Juliana. There's a couple of them. But I threw it up and I said, I verified this, I think, as a Juliana. Of course, you learn how to read the back, look at those puddinates. Oh my goodness, that's a classic figure eight. Do you see that? The puddling of the solder. That's a classic figure eight. It's got, see that little notch on the pin that's called, on the back there, that's called a pin stop. D&E used that on their jewelry. There's some other characteristics then. So it's all here, that all checked out. And I threw a picture of it up there and said, how would you describe these stones? Well, guess who responded? She responded. I could about fell out of my chair when I saw it, y'all. You have that pen with the watermelon stones. Oh my gosh. And Little Sugar, you're asking about, is there a Strafari one? Let me answer your question real quick. That's my next book to buy. I haven't bought it yet because there's several out there, and I need to decide which one. I wish I had somebody telling me about their Trifari books and which one they recommend. But anyway, I'll take a chance and buy all of them and see which one I like. But anyway, she described in a long paragraph this piece, how she described it. She said, if you look on page so and so on my book, she said, you'll see the pieces, she said, that I have in my collection. And she referred me to this page right here. Now, my brooch, and I asked her about that. I said, now my brooch isn't exactly like yours. There's three stones here, and all this business is a little taller than mine. And she said, yes, but this brooch is, she said, you have identified it. It is Juliana. And she said, I couldn't show everything, in the book. But there were different variations. And you see this one's pink, this one's blue, there's a green one. And she said, but no, it is Juliana. But she said, you can document your piece as being page, whatever it was page 113 of my book. So I have done that. Isn't that cool? I just think that's cool that she answered me. So let me show you a picture of her. How many of you've got this book? How many of you collect Juliana? Any of you? Any of you collect Juliana? Give me a thumbs up. Yes, no. If you do, this is a book that you need to have. I'm trying to find a picture of her. She sang in the opera. And how come I can't find the picture? Look at there she is. That's her right there. She was an opera singer. She may still be, but she wore all of this D&E or Juliana jewelry and her performances. Is that not? Is that not? I just think that's cool. There she is. Look how dramatic that is. And look at, and well, Juliana's jewelry was made for the stage. And I'll come back to this book in just a minute. But the other one, where's the other one? The other one that is the main book that everybody has on Juliana is maybe this one by Knudsen and Wacker. And you can see, though, that it is Delisa and Elsa, which is the name of the company that made the line called Juliana. It was named after their daughter, and it was just one line of their jewelry. So, really, it's correct to say and identifying it as being a D and E piece, and if it is appropriate, you'd say it is a Juliana from that line. But they continued to make jewelry from this, and most of that was from the 40s and 50s and 60s, the Juliana. But from the 70s to the 80s, they kept on making jewelry. But y'all, this jewelry doesn't look anything. It's just not the same. It doesn't have quite the same look. And there's some pieces that you just wouldn't even think, is that a Juliana? Let me find a good example. Some of it does, but let me go back to the front. I was just shocked that, like that piece right there. Would you look at that and say, "Yeah, that's a Juliana"? Well, I wouldn't. But anyway, they cover the all of that. Look at that. Would you think that's a Juliana? I wouldn't. But it is. Well, it's a D and E. Let's put it that way. What have I got marked here? Oh, I have this butterfly in a blue, and I'm gonna, or right there. I have that one in blue. Let me show it to you. Yay! The butterflies are fun. Can y'all see that? So that's on page 112 of the Wacker and Knudsen book. It's in blue, not orange. And I'm going to offer that up for sale in just a little bit. Gonna let my butterfly go. Okay. Now, the last book I'm going to show you on Juliana is uh, by a woman who's really quite famous on Facebook anyway, Ann Pittman. And Ann Pittman is the sweetest lady. There is a Facebook page dedicated and started by her, and I think it's entitled The Juliana Book. And she started the Facebook page group to advertise a reprint of her very first book. The one I've got is volume 3, that was a pretty extensive coverage of Juliana. And for a long time, Anne was considered the foremost authority on Juliana pieces. And in fact, the database is at juliana.com. That comes from her. And she's quite a character. And I've communicated with her. And right now, you can find through that Facebook just instructions on how to write her, email her. And for about, I think it's 20 something dollars, you can get a thumb drive of a copy of that first volume because it's out of print. And she's trying to get it printed again, but she's not having a lot of success. But you can get a digital copy of it from her, or you can download a digital copy. She's just offered that recently, and I highly recommend it. And it's quite the authority if you're interested in Juliana. But bless her heart, this, if I had been the graphic designer for her on this book, it's like why see all this yucky stuff around the, I'm sorry, as a graphic designer, it's like I don't like the book. But and the photographs, let me slow down so you can see, the photographs are just not that, it's okay, but boy, I hope when she gets it reprinted, the first one, that they do a better job. And again, you have to go to the index in the back to find the designer you're looking for and then go find the page. She hasn't got it divided by designer. But there is a nice section in this volume 3 on Juliana, but it's kind of small. Okay, that's the last of that I want to say. The only other thing that I wanted to say is that there's some books out there. Let me put you back on the stand so you're not wobbling all over the place. Sorry about that. Um, okay. I've lost some people. Oh goodness. Um, yeah, I hope they went into Caruso's shop and at her show. Um, but anyway, I'll keep pressing on. You need a couple of books on marks, jewelry marks, and this is one that I use. You know how the designers will have it'll be signed. Well, this is a nice book that shows just the marks. That's my copy. I've got another one that I also bought that is just as good, but it's a smaller um, paperback, and I'm going to offer this one for sale today. If anybody's interested in having a book just on marks. Okay, I think we've talked enough about that. Let's go ahead and auction these books off and see if anybody's interested in having one, and I'll find out right quick when we start here. Let's just start with, let's see. Let's start with this one right here. The one that I told you that had the value scale, in the front that I use so much. Is there anybody that is interested in this one? Let me just throw it up there right quick. Hang on just a second. Okay, this book is Fred. All right. Okay, I've got probably 30 seconds counting down. I've got it for $20, and I can tell you that it's more than that on eBay. I'm giving it up for uh, a less amount because I really would like to help you guys get good resources in your hand. Well, I'm so glad to see you're interested. And if you don't win the bid today, please look in about a week in my Buy It Now, and I'll have maybe even multiple copies, one or two anyway, and it'll be priced similarly. I may have to price it just way more to cover my postage, but um, today's a good day to get it. All right, so you've won it. All right, little sugar, great. Let me make a note. All right, so this is number 004, and I can connect your name with number 004. Awesome. Okay, let's throw up the brown book next. It's also starting at $20. This was the book that I liked so much because this is the Sparkles Brown book because it has all of the different designers. That's how it's organized, and the pictures are good and clear. And she has nice descriptions of the designer with a brief history, which I like, and then the characteristics, which is kind of cool. Gives you a little condensed description of the designer. All right, good. Glad to see you're interested in there. Look at Hobey. Look at there. Characteristic. Hobey written with an accent. Specialized in sterling, gold wash sterling. Used Majorca pearls. Unique custom rollers on the earrings, large stone bezel set. That's pretty helpful in it. And there's when they began. Did you know Hobey began in 1883 and still in business? Well, it may not be today because I think this was published back in the early 2000s. That's cool, isn't it? All right. Okay, y'all are still bidding within a good, cheaper than I think you can get it on eBay. All right. So, Mel, you have won this one, 003. Stick that right there. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. The next one is okay. This is a little bit of a financial investment, but these two books that I told you were uh, just beautiful photographs and divided by, organized by designer. I've got the two volumes, and let me put that up. These are a little more expensive, but I've got them priced at basically $25 a piece. So together, and you want to buy them together. I mean, it doesn't make sense to not do that. So $50 for both of them. And these are from out of my library. I'm going to replace them with another set of used ones I found, and I may or may not have, when they come in, an extra copy that I'll put in Buy It Now, but you can just look and see. But I can tell you that each one of these books now are $50 a piece. So you're getting them at $25 a piece. It's a good deal. Good deal. Okay, you've won this one. Awesome. I'm proud of you. Oh, I'm going to be excited knowing that you're going to get these and going to be enjoying looking at them and learning. Okay, let's put that away. And I've got one more, and it was this one. The one that had such a nice, and it does have some black and white shots that are, yeah, come see, come saw. But the best thing about this one is it is a wonderful collection of marks. And I've got it priced at $5. Can't beat that. All right. And it's just a used paperback, but there's not any marks in it. Didn't see any marks, like underlining or pencil marks. So it's in good shape. Marianne Dolan. Okay, great. I'm so excited that y'all like these. I just like anybody that likes books. uh, while y'all are bidding, when you get through, I'll show you in my room here. We're sitting in my living room. And how many of you like to see behind the scenes sometime? Sometimes we only ever see the stage when somebody's selling. We don't ever see. Okay, Mel, you've got this one, 006. Okay, that's yours. Okay, I'm just going to pick you up and get it. All right, now I told you I was a book collector. Those shelves are double stacked, and then books, 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 and there's a big shelf behind me that I can't turn around to see. And this is just in my little living room in my little cottage. I have got bookshelves all over this house. So when I say I'm a bookseller, I am a bookseller. Love books. Okay. The next thing I wanted to do, we're going to do it real quickly so we can go read Caruso, is I did want to show you my Juliana collection. And if you don't want any of the jewelry, that'll be fine. But we're talking about being a collector, and I am a collector. See if I can get you up over the chat. But this is my little beginning of my collection of Julianas. And I'm not going to show you every piece, but one of you said you had watermelon stones. And that, look at that. Isn't that spectacular? We're not going to take time to look at the backs or why they're Julianas. I just got this piece not too long ago. Look at those stones. This is just the bracelet. How many of you know you need to get the brooch and the earrings and everything that match? I just bought this piece recently with milk glass and black. This piece, if I were to pull Mazzetti's book out, I could show you exactly where this piece is and the earrings that match. This is from her Juliana the figural collection. It's an owl. Doesn't it look like an owl? Now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it. It's an owl. This piece is in Musetti's book. That's got the little cha-chas on the front. Beautiful Juliana. This milk glass, I've got a whole set that I haven't unpacked yet that I just bought from somebody online, one of these live auctions. It's a whole set of the milk glass. All right. There was this piece that I showed you before. And look at this black piece, y'all. Look at that. Is that not? Juliana jewelry is just really quite special. You like the milk glass? Yes. How many of you raise? I keep saying raise your hand. Give me a thumbs up if you have Juliana. Do you have Juliana? Because I'm on the lookout to buy it. If you've got it, I'll look at it. This is some of the what they call the black diamonds, that gray. This is a fairly recent piece. And then look at this. I've got a complete set of this. It reminds me of Sherman, but that's a Juliana. And I've got the necklace and the earrings and the bracelet and the brooch. So I've got a full Peru there set. All right. Now, I said that I was going to sell a Juliana today, and let's be about that right quick. Uh, I showed you that first one with the watermelon stone. I have two, but I'm going to keep the one with the watermelon stone. But this one is this golden. Now, these are clear stones, but it looks golden because of how it's set in the gold tone metal there in the back. All right, and I do have the book number for this. This has been verified. Let me throw this up right quick. I'm willing to sell this to whet your appetite for collecting Julianas. And I can tell you right now, this price, I actually, it's a starting bid of half of what I paid for it. And that I don't tell you that to make you feel bad or anything, but I'm willing to let it go. And collectors will do this. We'll buy, and then look, I've got two of them, and I decided I want to keep this one, and that I'd let this go, let someone else start their collection with it. No stones missing. It's in excellent shape. All right. So, anybody interested in this? Thank you. Oh, that ended. Okay. All right. Well, I get to keep it then. Okay. The next one that I was going to show you is the butterfly. How many of you like butterflies and critters? I have a huge, one of these huge display boxes that's all the way up to the top with critters, turtles and bugs and cats and dogs and mice and every kind of animal you can think of. You didn't see, did the bid not show up? I didn't see the bid show up. Are you saying that did this not run? Somebody clarify for me. It, I had chat open. Okay, so do you want me to run this again? Little Sugar, are you interested in me running it again? I think I had it. It did run. Okay, that's what I want to know. If you want me to run it again, I will. All right. And Misbehave, we're just looking at some Juliana pieces that I have decided out of my collection to sell today. And we're about to wrap up here. But anyway, this butterfly, they normally sell for anywhere from 50 to 60 at least. And I'm going to put it up starting bid today of 25. And if you like butterflies and you want to, and I showed it to you in the book, there it is. And I've got the book, the page number written down here on the tag. Yay! She likes it. I think the bugs are one of my favorites. All right. You've won the option. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let me put What was that number? 002. Let me put that aside with your number on. All right, I've got one last one. It's another bug. And I actually had this on my hat. I don't know if y'all saw me at the beginning when I had the camera turned around. I wear this ball cap with all these bugs. There's some Joan Rivers and some other. Anyway, I love bugs. Where was that one? Okay, this one was on there. And I decided, well, if I'm going to sell that butterfly, I'll sell this bug. So let me put it up, that Juliana bug. Now, this is just a tad more than that butterfly because, would you believe, these little bugs are even more popular. And this is in the book. You'll have the page number. It came in different colors, blue and green and purple, but this one's pink. And it is verified. It is a Juliana. Is that not the sweetest thing? Oh, yeah, I'm going to sell this one, and I'm going to have to go out and find me another one. Oh, uh, little sugar, bless your heart. You taking all my goodies today. All right. I think that's all I had today that to sell. All right, listen, the rest of you that are in here, let me turn this around and see my face. I've taken my hat off. Woo. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being in here today with me. And I hope that every Thursday that I do this, that you'll come back and join me. And each Thursday we'll do look at something else, a different aspect of either jewelry or we may even talk about vintage and antique books one day, and I'll turn you on to finding real treasure when you go into these thrift shops and to estate sales looking for books. So just be on the lookout for the posting, but it should be every Saturday. It's every Saturday, and I'm probably going to do it at 2 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock. So just be watching for it. Okay, y'all have. Thank you. I know it's going. Little Sugar's going to have a good home. Thank all of you that bid. All of you that entered a bid, thank you for doing that. Those that won, thank you, thank you. I'll get these packed and shipped. And listen, because I'm selling books and jewelry, I couldn't do bundled because the weight and everything's so different. But I will bundle. What am I trying to say? I will send them together if possible. It's sometimes a little hard to send small jewelry with big heavy books, so I'll just have to see. But all that to say, I will refund to you almost immediately as soon as I buy the label any extra postage. I will do that. Okay, so be assured. All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to see if I can end this show and let's raid Caruso. At least go in there and wave at her and say hi and give her a good day today. Thank you for coming to my store, my show today. Thank y'all so much. All right, let's see if I can raid. Yes, she's live. Bye, y'all. Love you. See you next Saturday.